Hello and welcome to another edition of the Illumination Weekly. We're looking at the week of October 2019, 21, day 21 through 27. And I'm excited because I'm home finally after weeks of traveling. And yeah, that feels good. I just got back today. I was in Denver teaching. So I'm very glad to be back. I'm using the Illuminating Journey Cards that I created with the help of the Akashic Records. And I have already prepared the cards. So let's see what they have to say to us. What do we need to know this week? So the first card is the Soul Portal 29, and 2 and 9 make 11. So we have a 2. For me, it's so interesting. This card has shown up so many times in the last couple of months, so I find it really fascinating. I personally love this card because it has an energy that forces us to confront our fears, to confront the things we have ignored or not wanted to deal with, and so no, I'm just going to put a veil over this. I don't want to know about it. And this card is inviting us to go into those places that are necessary. We need to go further. What is this thing that I'm trying to avoid? And, how can I move into this space? Because the clock is ticking, right? So there's all of this energy around needing to take action, the invitation to enter the space and discover it's really not as scary as we think it is. That it really is about practice and applying ourselves and changing the way we look at it. And what's fascinating is that I'm looking at this area here in the reflection, and it looks like a bird, like a dodo bird or something, and the eye, here's the beak, and also looks like those kind of with two handles, like the garden cutters, right? It's like this idea of being curious and delighted, or what can I know? What can I do? What can I trim? Let's trim the hedges, all the stuff that's been holding us back, like we've been standing behind these, the brambles, afraid to enter and to discover, and knowing like there are so many ways, so many portals, and so many entries into what we're needing to discover and travel into. So we have to travel beyond our fear, beyond the things we avoid, out in the world. And I certainly can see that with myself, that idea of avoiding things that are confrontational or difficult or challenging. It's just not going to go away, and we're not going to get past it. Like, we have to go through this process. We have to push ourselves to do things in new ways, to deal with things, find ways of confronting what we consider something we would rather not, just so we can get through this space into something totally new, right? This is a doorway, or many doorways, into finding the music of our souls, the bliss of being human, which is, experiencing things, going through and going, oh, I've been avoiding this because I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, or I didn't want to make waves. And now I realize, like, oh, this is the way I have to do this to actually find who I am, and to step into my courage and my sense of self, to honor my own desires. So it's a very powerful time that we're being called into to confront what we may have considered out of bounds, that we mustn't look there or do it. And then the second card we have here is also a soul portal, and it's the 22. So fascinating. It's like, this is what the cards are saying. We have to travel through these brambles and trees and mystery to find the path of peace. And what's so fascinating about this is, here we have this doorway, this arched doorway welcoming us into this space, if we are willing to go. Because, as beautiful as this is, it is not an easy landscape to traverse. So it's going to take that courage, and that fortitude and that recognition of self. I want this, and I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to go beyond uh, being spoon-fed or handheld or whatever. It doesn't mean you have to do this alone. It just means that you cannot hide behind somebody else doing it for you. As a former people pleaser, and I still have moments when I, fall into those patterns. It's just so easy to wait so other people can do the things that feel uncomfortable, but then you're following their path and not your own, and that's frustrating. So it's like, yeah, go through the frustration and the fear and the things you want to avoid, so you can actually, and there's so much beauty in that, like the discovery of facing what it is that's in front of you, so you can get to this, right? And then take these paths, knowing you have the courage and the ability, now that you've seen your own strength and your own incredible, beautiful, vulnerable self, and you can have not only compassion but understanding and kind of the nourishment to take these journeys and go, right, I want to go there, I'm going to climb here, I want to be able to not only feel peace, but I want to understand what it is I'm seeking, that I can actually have. I can take these paths and become more of me, because peace and tranquility and all of these things come when we journey to our souls. We take these journeys of where we want to go, these journeys of discovery. We don't just let people tell us, oh, don't go there, don't do this, this is what you need to do. We have to journey there to really know ourselves and see ourselves in a new light. And this is where we're going. And of course, with the 22, that's a very powerful number for the time we're in. Moving into 2020, which is a 22, there's a lot happening and shifting and changing as we move into it. And of course, through it, it won't just be, oh, here's the big moment, boom, and then it's over. It's a process. So coming to terms with our own desires and how that plays out in the choices we make. We can't just have a desire and it pops up, right? We have to do things. We have to activate the what is churning, the creativity inside us that desires us to have something, and then we have to do it. We have to walk up the mountain to get to the peace, or we have to connect with the diamonds that awaken inside of us. And then the third card, that's interesting. There's another 4, because of course 22, and then that's a 4. 2 and 2 is 4, and then we have a 4. And here again is a very strong card, this card with all the red, which is a very fierce card, I think, in terms of awakening us to allowing what must die to die, and to allow new things to be birthed. And this energy of change, but it's a change that needs to be grounded and brought in, like we begin to know ourselves and to know what we desire, and begin to lay the foundations and allow the magic and the essence of the things around us to show themselves to us, and so that we become part of the earth, and connected players. We're not just observers, we're actually involved in what is happening, and we're listening, and we're paying attention, and we're truly engaged in being part of the earth and all of this that's changing. And here we have a spaceship, and we have this was it like the Parthenon or something, like an ancient building, and all of this kind of, it feels like new things are birthing, this energy of movement and birth, right? I said birthing twice. But all the red makes me think about the birthing, the blood, the awakening to something that is calling us, to create what we desire, what feels safe, what feels potent and electric and fiery and necessary for the change. So there you have it. I think I mentioned I'm Jen Duchene of jenduchene.com. If you're interested in having your own deck of Illuminating Journey Cards, you can find them at jenduchene.com/Illuminating Journey Cards. And let me know what you think about this week's reading. I love getting comments. Like and subscribe as well. And I will see you next week.